Q13, you're watching Q13 Fox News this morning. Right now, the NBA season is about a week old, but you'd never know it by taking the pulse of the average Seattle sports fan because our team is not here. They're in Oklahoma.
Yeah, we all remember the trauma. After 41 years in Seattle, the Sonics were sold and they moved to Oklahoma City. Jason Reid is a local filmmaker. He explores several reasons for the team's departure in his documentary, Sonicsgate. So he joins us live in studio today. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here.
Jason, this is a complicated story, and I admire anybody who can tell this story. But let's start at the beginning. Give us, why do you think the Sonics left?
Well, it's a number of reasons. It's not just one reason. First off, you have Howard Schultz, who owned the team, who sold the team to a group of Oklahoma businessmen led by Clay Bennett. So for selling the team, Howard Schultz is part of the reason. But there's also a lot of other reasons. There's Clay Bennett, who lied, who said he was going to keep the team here at all costs, and then he ended up moving the team a year later. You have our local government, both on the city and the state level. You have Mayor Nichols, who took a settlement that allowed the team to leave. You have people like Nick Licata, who said the team has no cultural value and kind of poisoned the situation here. You have, and then you have the NBA in the league and David Stern, who allowed the move to happen. So it's not just one thing that led to the departure, but many.
Okay, so you said that he lied, and one of the conditions of the sale was that Bennett had to keep the team in Seattle. You have emails proving a lot of things. Tell us about that.
Well, there were emails that were released prior to the trial. And basically, you know, Bennett was talking to the other owners in Oklahoma, and they basically said, hey, we're going to, you know, we want to have the team playing ball here in Oklahoma City next year. And you know, these emails showed that within the 1 year that Clay Bennett was supposed to make a good faith, best effort to keep the team here, that actually he was talking to the fellow owners of the Sonics at that time, you know, really plotting to move. In addition to that, he talked to David Stern, and they had a relationship that went back a lot further.
So there was never any intention of keeping the Sonics here.
Well,
is what you're saying.
The intention that Clay Bennett and Howard Schultz and everyone said was they were going to make their best effort for a year to keep the team here. But if you look at the rent and arena proposal and some of the things that Bennett did that he said he was doing, making a good effort, well, really that was not a realistic arena proposal, and he never really intended to keep the team here, and those emails prove that.
So let's talk about the NBA now. Commissioner David Stern was quoted as saying that the Key Arena made the smallest financial footprint of any stadium in the league, essentially saying that we weren't making enough money. Talk about the NBA's role in all of this, because they decide, I mean, they vote and then they decide, right?
Yeah, I mean, basically the Board of Governors, which is all the owners of the NBA, voted about a year and a half ago to allow the team to leave. Now, David Stern is correct in saying that the Key Arena is the smallest footprint of any arena in the league, which means they don't have the amenities. They don't have these super arenas like the arenas in Chicago and Denver. These places are like mini malls that have restaurants and stores and things of that nature. Key Arena's footprint's so small that they don't actually have the revenue streams to generate the money needed to keep up and be a competitive NBA team. And in turn, the team was losing money for its last, you know, five years, which is part of the reason Howard Schultz sold the team. But at the same time, David Stern wasn't talking about the 41 years of history and the economic value that brings to the league and all of the other reasons why keeping basketball in the 13th largest market in the country as opposed to Oklahoma that was the 48th largest market. I mean, these are reasons you can't argue with, but for some reason, the NBA and David Stern allowed this move to happen.
So we all remember the whole campaign to Save Our Sonics, the whole movement. Talk about how that raw emotional response you've seen from basketball fans and in the Seattle area didn't do anything.
I mean, you know, we did our best as basketball fans here, but ultimately, you know, it wasn't enough to keep the team here. I don't know that there's anything that the fans could have done to keep the team here other than what we did. The forces were so strong, and there were so many people who allowed this to happen. If any one person, if it was Nichols or if it was Howard Schultz for not dropping the lawsuit that he had after the fact, if any one of these people stuck to their guns, then we'd probably still have basketball here because the Sonics were required to stay through this season. And, you know, as Nichols said, for months and months and months leading up to the settlement, we believe if we had 2 years left, we would have better chances of keeping NBA basketball here in the future. And ultimately, we probably would still have NBA basketball here had he not settled.
Do you think we'll see a team here?
Well, that's part of the reason we're making the movie. We wanted to get the story documented and told for the record, for historical record, and to educate the public and on what happened here, and ultimately gain the issue back into the news cycle so we can gain momentum to get a team back here. Now, unfortunately, as the movie talks about, in order to get another team, we're going to have to steal a team from another city.
Do you think we'll need a new arena, though?
We do need a new arena, period. The NBA will not come back here unless Key Arena is renovated or another private arena solution in Bellevue or something, comes up.
Okay, one final question. We're just about out of time. What's the moral of this story? Because, I mean, look at the Sounders, what's happening right now. This city will support the right franchise.
I mean, the moral of the story is to make sure you don't let this happen to an asset that's so important to the community. I mean, it's just like Boeing leaving. It's just, we're losing important assets to this community. And if the government, both on the state and local city level, don't do the things that are necessary to keep these assets, we're going to continue to lose them. And we may not, we're always going to be a first-tier city, but we're losing a little bit here.
Well, fascinating look. Jason Reid, thank you so much for telling us about the movie.
Thanks a lot for having me.
And if you want to check it out, Jason is letting you look at it free, the entire thing online. All you have to do is go to Sonicsgate.org. Good stuff. Thanks for being here,
All right,
Jason.
thanks for having me, you guys.
All right.